In my last few EDC and setup videos, a lot of you guys in the comments were curious about my Android phone's theme, wallpaper, and icons. So I thought it was a good time to do a full what's on my phone video with my Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus. For now, this is my phone of choice. It still looks clean with this matte aluminum frame and marble gray back, amazing big display, great battery life and performance, more than capable camera system that got me a lot of my favorite shots ever. Plus, there are so many convenient customizations and features to really personalize this phone for your own usage. So in this video, I want to show you guys some of that and how I have things set up inside and out, and maybe it'll help with your setup too. Before we get to my home screen setup, I want to first mention some accessories that I use, including this $3 case that I impulsively bought from AliExpress. It even took 2 full weeks to arrive and I really didn't expect much, but it's now my favorite case for my S24 Plus and I use it every day. It's just all TPU, but it's all matte with this frosted clear body, and even though it is yellowing already, I still think it's beautiful and feels really nice. The buttons are clicky, no weird cutouts, smooth edges everywhere. It's got MagSafe too, which I don't use, but I guess it adds some character in there. I'm not sponsored by this random AliExpress seller, but if you are interested, the affiliate link is down below. Another accessory that I want to mention that isn't necessarily part of my daily carry, but I do rely on from time to time, is the iSteady X3 by Hohem, the sponsor for this portion of the video. The X3 is Hohem's latest gimbal with exceptional build quality and all the features you need without breaking the bank. 3-axis stabilization, Bluetooth connection, a robust dedicated app, USB-C charging, detachable remote controls, and even a magnetic fill light. I film a lot of my YouTube videos outdoors and in coffee shops with my phone, especially for product shots, and this has started to become a huge help with getting really nice and smooth shots. After pairing, as soon as you power it on, I love how it immediately stabilizes and connects to my phone. Super convenient with little to no steps to actually start shooting. The X3 works with your phone in either orientation, so it's perfect for both long form and short form content. And you can just double click this button to get it to change orientation whenever you want. Because of how easy it is to use and how portable it is, I've started to use it to vlog some of my outdoor fitness where I got some really smooth stabilized POV and B-roll footage even though my arms are shaking most of the time. Plus, as you can tell from my videos, I film everything myself, and the X3 is a great tool for solo content creators like me. This thing even has a built-in tripod, which really homes in on that sentiment. Now, since a lot of other competing gimbals typically have mediocre battery life, I was a bit worried about this, but the X3 gets up to 11 hours of battery life, which is more than enough even for a long shooting day. The X3 is already a good deal for what it can do, but if your budget is tighter than that, no worries, you can just go for the X3 SE instead. You can do almost everything the X3 can do, but missing the fill light and a built-in tripod. So both are great options if you're looking for a gimbal to improve or get started with your content. If you're interested, make sure to check out the links below. Alright, so let's first start with the lock screen setup. Samsung has a ton of widgets and add-ons available on the lock screen, but honestly, I realized that I was never using or looking at them much, and I ended up unlocking my phone anyway. So that's why I like to keep the lock screen and always on display as clean as possible with just the time and weather with no widgets and not even the quick access icons on the bottom. I much prefer to double click the power button to get to the camera anyway, so this works out for me. To not get too distracted and for a bit of privacy, I also just have the notifications displaying as icons to not show any content. This keeps the lock screen clean while still letting me know that I have some alerts waiting for me. Then onto the home screen, which I also like to keep as clean as possible with just 2 pages and only my daily essential apps located at the bottom for convenient one-hand access. The first page is for my daily personal use items, while the second page is for full-time and also my YouTube work. And yes, I do keep the Google Discover page off since I don't find much use for it. I like to just have some glanceable info here using some widgets. I have family living in California, so I like to have the Los Angeles time right there along with the current weather and active alarms. I'm actually a big fan of One UI's widgets and how consistent they look. Unfortunately, can't say the same for the Google Calendar widget on the second page, but I do have a lot of meetings, so it is a must-have for me here. Also, to help keep things very one-hand friendly, I have this setting on so I easily can swipe down to open the notification panel. With very few apps on the home screen, there are times I need to search for an app in the apps library or use a finder, which is a bit of a hassle to get to. That's why I have the Pixel Search app installed right here in the middle of the dock. Not only does it work for searching for installed apps, it also works as a file search and of course for Google search or your search engine of choice. It's super responsive, and you can also directly search within a few other apps too from here. You can even set this as your digital assistant, so no matter what app you're in, whenever you swipe up from the bottom corner, you can immediately search something without any AI fluff. Again, not sponsored, but this app has been a big time lifesaver and is totally free, so I definitely recommend it. As for the theme and icons, which a lot of you guys were curious about, my setup is actually very simple. Lately, all the saturated, bright app icon colors have been making me feel a bit uneasy for some reason, so I've been going for more of a monochrome all black look. The theme itself is actually just a stock One UI theme. I just have dark mode on and the color palette is a gray one with a hint of bluish hue. But this sleek black wallpaper is called Barely There and you can get it directly from the Backdrops app, which I also highly recommend. It's free with some ads, but they got some of the most aesthetic and minimal wallpapers. I've been relying on their wallpapers for quite some time now. Where I did do a bit of tweaking was the icons. There's actually a huge community of icon packs from this app called Icon Pack Studio. With it, you could just create your own from scratch, but what I did was I found the most minimal or monochrome icon pack I could find and tweaked it a little bit. Why I did this instead of getting one from Samsung's theme store was that these icon packs apply to all app icons. A lot of the icon packs from Samsung's theme store are missing tons of apps and doesn't apply to all, so the one I found from Icon Pack Studio was minimal dark, set the size to 54, set the background color to black and the opacity at 10 so it's just barely visible, hit preview and apply, then it will show up as an APK in your files and you install it. FYI, auto blocker does need to be disabled for this to install. Then to actually apply it onto One UI, you need to install Theme Park from the Good Lock app. Go to Icon, create new, tap Icon Pack and find the icon pack you just installed. Hit install and name it whatever you want, then it will show up in your Theme Park library of icons. Apply it and then you're all done. It is a couple of steps and you do need to do this again whenever you install a new app, as Icon Pack won't automatically apply to it. But once you get the hang of this process, it's kind of fun to do and you can even change things up if you want. I also barely install new apps anyway, so this works for me and I just love how cohesive everything looks on my phone. That's basically it in terms of the looks, but here are some other tips to make your life a little easier so you don't have to fiddle with your phone as often. I definitely recommend setting up some automations and modes and routines, but first, to get the most out of this, install Routines Plus from GoodLock, which will get you all kinds of additional automation options. Personally, I only have 4 routines set up for myself, but they're so convenient I can't live without these. My first 2 routines are location based. One is for whenever I'm outside of the general vicinity of my home, the Wi-Fi on my phone will automatically turn off and switch to my cell network. When I'm back in my home area, it'll just turn back on. On top of that, I have one set up for my workplace, so when I arrive near my workplace, my phone automatically turns on Do Not Disturb so I don't disturb my coworkers if I receive notifications or calls. Then when I leave work, same thing, it automatically reverts and turns off Do Not Disturb. I also have a very simple one for power saver mode. Our phones get pretty iffy at 15% or less, so I have it set that whenever my battery dips below 16%, the power saver mode will automatically turn on. And finally, the last routine is one for extra dim mode. I use extra dim whenever I'm using my phone in complete darkness, and this makes the display a lot easier on the eyes. So I have it set that whenever I do turn it on and most of the time fall asleep without turning it off, it automatically turns off by itself when the sunrise hits where I'm located. There's probably a few more I can add here, but these are my 4 essential routines. That's basically everything there is for what's on my phone right now in 2024. I hope this video was able to help some of you, especially those who are really curious about my setup. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of this and if you have any suggestions to improve what I have here. And before ending this video, I wanted to do an honorable mention of the Absolute S9 controller, which Absolute did provide as a review unit. To be honest, I haven't been gaming too much lately on my phone, but when I do, the S9 controller has been pretty nice. It's great because of 3 things that are super important to me when gaming on a phone. Number 1, it's USB-C and fits with any phone case on. Number 2, there's a dedicated app to map virtual controls on any game, including games like Genshin Impact, which annoyingly still doesn't have controller support on Android. Number 3, amazing button feel and real high quality L2 and R2 triggers. And as long as you buy the controller itself, everything in the app including virtual control mapping is free, so you don't need to worry about another subscription service. Of course, link for this is also down below if you are interested. Okay, that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you guys on the next one.